One boy, one garage, one dream. This is the true story of Steve Jobs, told in simple English with heart, emotion, and meaning. Let's begin. Steve Jobs was born in 1955. His birth parents gave him away. Paul and Clara Jobs adopted him. They gave him love, books, tools, and a garage. Steve always asked, why? He asked about lights, wires, sounds. He took things apart to understand them. He didn't follow rules. He followed curiosity. Steve's father, Paul, fixed cars in the garage. He said, even the inside, make it beautiful. Steve remembered that forever. He learned, good work is quiet work. Steve once fixed a neighbor's radio. He was just 11 years old. The man gave him $2. Steve smiled and said, I like this kind of job. Steve was smart, but different. He got bored in class, he got into trouble. One teacher gave him extra books, another let him build after school. In math class, Steve asked, what if the world is just numbers? The teacher replied, Steve, don't think too much. But Steve kept thinking. At 13, Steve called the CEO of HP. He asked for parts to build something. The CEO gave him a summer job. Steve said, I just asked. In high school, Steve met Wozniak. Woz built electronics. Steve had ideas. They became friends and a great team. They made the Blue Box, a device for free phone calls. It was illegal, but clever. They sold 100 units. Steve said, we can build, we can sell. Steve went to Reed College. After 6 months, he dropped out, but he stayed to learn. He said, I followed curiosity, not the map. He studied calligraphy, beautiful letters, spacing, balance. He said, that class gave the Mac fonts. He slept on floors, ate at temples, returned bottles for coins, but his mind was full of fire. Steve traveled to India. He searched for peace. He walked, meditated, and sat in silence. He said, silence spoke. Woz built a computer. Steve said, let's sell it. They started Apple in a garage with $1,300. Apple I, then Apple II. Simple, friendly, personal. People smiled using it. Steve said, that smile is the product. At 25, Steve had $100 million. He said, make things you love, not just what sells. Steve built the Macintosh. It had icons, fonts, a mouse. He said, technology should feel human. On launch day, he stared at the Mac. Let's see if the world is ready, he said. Then he walked on stage. In 1985, Apple removed Steve. He left his own company, hurt, quiet, but not finished. He started next, a new company, new computers. He said, I still want to change the world. Steve bought Pixar, a small animation studio. They had ideas, and he believed in them. In 1995, Pixar released Toy Story, the world's first 3D movie. It made people laugh and cry. Steve said, we made a moment. In 1997, Apple needed help. They called Steve. He returned, calm, focused, ready. He cut products, simplified ideas, then launched the iMac, bright, fun, different. Apple was back. 1,000 songs in your pocket. The iPod changed music and how we move through life. The iPhone had no buttons, only a screen. Steve said, this changes everything. Then came the iPad, one screen for life. He said, people want tools and they want beauty. Steve wore black shirts. He said no more than yes. He believed in focus and clarity. He said, real artists ship. Steve believed in dreamers. He said, the crazy ones can change the world. He thought different. In 2005, he gave a speech. He talked about death and choice. Stay hungry, stay foolish, he said. Steve got cancer in 2003. He worked during treatment. He said, "Each day is a gift." He launched the iPad in 2010, then stepped down. He was tired, but proud. On October 5, 2011, Steve Jobs died. He was 56. People left apples outside stores. They cried. They remembered. Steve gave more than devices. He gave people confidence, simplicity, and big ideas. He made technology feel human. Before him, computers were for experts. After him, they were for everyone. He changed how we live, work, and create, all from a garage. What are you building? It doesn't have to be big, it just has to matter, to you. What part of this story inspired you? Write it in the comments, in English. Practice your words, share your thoughts. Want more stories like this? We tell real stories, for real learners, from A1 to B1. Subscribe to Let's English. Thank you for listening. You listened. You learned. You reflected. That's amazing. See you in the next story.